Hello everyone, welcome to the High Heels of Bitcoin special edition number 1. We celebrate International Women's Day today, so I have something special for you. This is something really new. It used to be me and one interviewee. Now I have 3 beautiful, intelligent and charming girls. So without any further ado, let's get started. Do you celebrate International Women's Day in USA?
We do, yeah.
It's is it March 8th?
Yes.
So it's the same thing in Poland. So basically we can maybe start with that, because I am wondering how does it look in USA, because in Poland basically, especially older gentlemen, they bring all the women they meet flowers, and everyone is gentle and everyone is pleasant and everyone is so cute, and I don't know. So basically we tell any woman we meet Happy Women's Day, things like that.
That sounds very different than the US.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
definitely do. So I've never had a real job. I can't really say what it's, you know, like, because I've always worked for myself or worked at a startup or something. I've never like worked in an office where holidays were observed. So I can't really speak to that, but I'm sure that the two of you can.
Well, in Canada, we have it as well. I think it's on the same day. And to be honest, I don't really know what goes on for that day up here, but I don't really know. I honestly don't know. I think it's a lot of social media stuff that I see mostly, and that's about it, really. I am speaking on a panel for Women's Week on March 6th with Justina from Twitter, as we know, a woman I am drawing a blank. Women in blockchain. Yeah, Canada. So she has a panel she's doing for Women International Women's Week, I think it's called, or something. Yeah. So.
yeah, I think in the US, at least, kind of my observations of the day is it really same like what you said, Amina. It's a little bit more of a social media holiday. Like I don't think I've ever had someone like come up to me and be like, Happy Women's Day. Like when you were saying, Mike, that happens in Poland and people are like passing out flowers. I'm like, what? So I think it's more, yeah, again, like a social media kind of thing where brands and companies will highlight women that are doing cool things. And that's about the extent of what I usually see for that.
Well, to be honest, in Poland it's slowly dying with the next generation. I don't know which letter this generation of my son is, X, Y, Z or something else. I don't even know which generation am I. So, but it used to be very, used to be country official celebration when we were a communist country back in 80s, before 1989. But now people still celebrate it. Maybe the scale is not such, it's not as big as it used to be, but it's still there, and it's full of respect. It's not like there is any sexism or things like that. It's full of respect. So basically, when I say Happy Women's Day, I mean it. I don't mean anything behind it.
That is so nice to hear, that women are valued, is what I'm hearing you say. And I mean, that gesture, giving a flower, represents that to me, I would think. So, I mean, that's really refreshing to hear that the woman is valued that way, and not exploited in any way. There was a post about that recently on Twitter, just about, I think Binance or something, some kind of drama was going on about women and drama, and right? Did you hear that, Nicole, or did you?
Yeah, they posted an ad for a beautiful young woman with large breasts.
Right.
And the thing was that the person who wrote the ad was a female herself. And I think she just didn't realize that that's not appropriate in, you know, from a potential employer. I don't think that it was meant maliciously.
Yeah. Right.
And kind of one thing that I said is like, so how is that any different from what a television company does when they advertise a position like that, except for that Binance was honest about what they were looking for? And I mean, and I don't think that it's okay, right? But I can see that, I could see the potential for that argument to be made.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think I've heard another side of the story, because I think her name is Yihe. She is Chinese. Someone gave me the idea to interview her for her High Heels of Bitcoin, but I would have to learn Mandarin Chinese, so I had to give up. But I think it was some kind of Chinese joke, and there was a translation error, and the meaning was, for Eastern countries, the meaning was very disrespectful. So I don't think I don't think she meant that at all.
Interesting. Okay.
So
yeah, to hear different perspectives.
Yeah. Because people are very, very, very eager to judge everyone, basically.
Correct.
Especially on the internet. That's why. Yeah, I hear it all the time. For example, you are that, and that, and.
But having said that aside, there is a lot of exploitation with women. I mean, that's just inevitable. It's there, you know. So like going back to what you were saying, just the valuing of women, it's nice and refreshing to hear a culture doing that.
Yes,
but showing that.
Well, we are not as advanced as USA or Western Europe. Because we are a pretty traditional country, we don't have a lot of feminists. So basically, when you try to open the door for a lady, she won't get offended.
Nice.
And I think the world is going crazy in that aspect, because I say you are a nice lady, or you are, for example, when I say to a lady, you are a beautiful woman, I don't mean to disrespect you. I don't mean to try to rape you. I just say you're beautiful. It's a compliment, right?
Absolutely.
And some people get it upside down and say I am a sexist or things like that. It's totally crazy for me.
Well, when a man holds a door open for me, I run for it. I'm like, thank you. That's wonderful. Why wouldn't I be? I think it's great. I mean, I hold doors for men just the same. So.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that people can get really worked up about certain things. And for me, it's not like, oh, I'm a woman, someone should open a door for me. Or like you said, I open doors for any human being that is maybe behind me, or, you know, or maybe especially if you see someone that's like holding a bunch of bags or something, you know, as they're going through the store. Like, I don't think that's people are, think are just generally trying to be nice. And I think if we remove that attachment of gender and just kind of like, hey, like, let's just be nice to human beings and do nice things, like open the door for them if you see someone that could use it. Like, I don't know. That's kind of how I approach it.
I'd never be offended by anybody holding a door for me. That's for sure. I've never heard that. I guess I've sort of heard of that in the movies where someone was like, no, I can open my own door, but I've never actually experienced it in life.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, like, one thing that, at least how I kind of view all of this is really people's intentions. I think that you can feel, because I do think that there is a lot of kind of sexism and underlying types of, you know, patriarchy, like things that are influencing the way that, you know, certain men, especially in leadership, maybe treat women, and they're not even fully aware of it. So I do think, I'm not saying that this is a non-issue, but what I am saying is I think that you can feel someone's intention from what they're doing. Either it's malicious, or maybe they're just unaware, or whatever it may be. And so I try to have some kind of empathy and space for grace for people, if, you know, because we're all in different stages, I would say, of, you know, kind of where we're at in our understanding and our involvement of who we are as human beings. And I think that's okay.
To be honest, I have never met a woman who would get offended by holding a door for her. So, for example, it's like when I see it on the internet or some YouTube videos, and I say, "What? What? Is it some kind of I don't know, staged video? This stuff really happens? What?"
Maybe in New York, I wonder.
Maybe, yeah.
I'm sure it really happens, but yeah, I think that some of that is just, you know, dramatized for television, say, for entertainment value.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Well, in Polish we say that internet loves tits and drama. I don't know if it's correct translation to English, but it's tits and drama.
Did you say tits and drama?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe I should.
Funny.
I don't know. Maybe it should be rather breasts and drama, but I think it's rather the word I used.
Right. Yeah, I think so.
All right. What about blockchain? Because and cryptocurrency world? Because it's a bit different. Because to be honest, when you look at the Instagram, it's full of almost nude girls or girls using their body to gain an advantage or basically do whatever they want to do. But in crypto it's a bit different. I think the ladies there are professional.
Yeah,
For the
I
most
mean,
part, right? Would you agree, ladies? For the most part, I mean, I don't really know, but from what I've seen.
I don't know. I think that we're so early in the crypto space right now that it really is attracting a lot of people that are attracted to blockchain technology because of what it represents, because of the tech behind it, because of the movement behind it. And so, yeah, I think that, you know, just in general, you're attracting fairly like intelligent people to the space, you know, men and women, right? And so, but also, you know, I think that as we continue to grow as a space, like I hope we get more of that kind of lifestyle type content, you know, because I think that's actually really important. And so, you know, I think it's great that we have a lot of really professional kind of buttoned up content, you know, and things right now. But yeah, I think that as the space grows, it'll be a positive sign when we're seeing more of those kind of Instagram lifestyle kind of stuff popping in.
I personally dislike, I mean, I know that there are some times when women in the space will come on and, you know, use a swimsuit picture, or, you know, the guys will say that they're using their body to, you know, gain followers quicker. Personally, I mean, I don't understand what all of the issue with it is. I mean, right, like Bitcoin cryptocurrency was about sovereignty over our money. Why is sovereignty over our bodies, regardless of our genders, treated as though it's something different? I mean, like I say that if you want to build your brand and you're cool, like, you know, you want to put yourself out there naked or half naked, like that's your body, that's your money, that's your brand, that's your business. I don't have an issue with it at all.
I actually agree, because I think like if someone's against that, you don't have to follow them, right? Like,
Exactly.
you know.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, but I think there is a risk, because if you use your body, you use this style. For example, I don't see you, Lea, or you, Amina, or you, Nicole, running naked or half naked, using your body just to advertise anything or things like that. I have nothing against it, but for example, I can say you are trying to use your brain, not only the body but the brain. And when some lady thinks, all right, I will post my nude pictures, I will go Kardashian's way or things like that, and then I think there is that men will treat her that way, or basically the entire society will treat her that way. So it's like, oh, she's pretty, she's nice, but
I agree with you that that's the way that it is, but I don't think that it should be that way. I think that that's kind of nonsensical. I mean, you use whatever you have to get what it is that you want, and I don't care if you don't have a brain and you want to sell nude pictures of yourself so that you can accumulate some more Bitcoin or some more cryptocurrency. Good. That means that you're smart enough to know that that's what you're going to need in the future. And if you're in a real big hurry to get it because you're really worried about, you know, the financial system collapsing, like, Why would anybody be telling anybody what they can and can't do, or how they will and will not be judged? I just think that that's all nonsense.
Interesting to hear all the different viewpoints. And like, I come from an upbringing where, you know, I was taught not to do those sort of things and not to expose yourself in ways that are going to devalue, or how it was looked at in those times, right? And so for me, it's, you know, I have a daughter who's absolutely stunning and gorgeous, and she's 22, and she's on Instagram, and she's got these fabulous pictures of herself that I can only dream and wish I could be like that. And of course, there's an age difference, so I understand. And she's got a lot of followers because of her looks, and she's very much free with her. She's a free spirit. So, and I respect that, and I value that, and I've never preached or told her anything otherwise. Never. I've never, you know. And she's evolved to being this young woman who is comfortable with herself that way. And, you know, I think we're as, I don't know, I mean, I'm going to say it in my view, in my perspective, that we're evolving, and we're an evolving species. And in that, I can see ourselves evolving as women, or men even. It's not just women, it's both genders doing all of this stuff, either way. Mm-hmm. But we have a body, and we are a great being with many powers and many abilities, and we are still learning how to use that and what that means. And I think that is something we should lend ourselves to, learning and understanding and opening that door to. And where does that lead to? What kind of evolvement can that be? What kind of illumination, or whatever you want to call it, you know, and keep it open, keep a mindset open to that. I think it's important. I just personally do. But where we are, like you said, Nicole, now in our presence, that's all understood, and I get it, and I agree. But we have room for evolvement. And what does that mean? We can discover that collectively, right? Because we have abilities that we haven't discovered yet.
I love that, because I think that you're right. This whole conversation of, is a woman, you know, showing off her body? Is she not? It feels like such a shallow level conversation that in the grand scheme of life and things, it's really not a big deal, I think. And kind of, Mike, to your point where you were like, hey, if a woman is putting out that kind of content, she will be treated in a certain way. And again, I think that that's kind of each person's choice on how they want to show themselves to the world, you know, and in what ways they want to. Like, I choose not to post a lot of stuff like that because that doesn't fit in my comfort zone or in the brand and the things that I want to put out. But that doesn't mean that it's wrong or that it's bad. It's just a different, you know, we all have different styles. We all have different comfort levels. We all have different things. And so, yeah, I don't think that it's necessarily like one is better than the other. It's just we all have different ways we choose to interact with the world around us.
For me, it's really like, what both of you have said, what everybody said, but it's like, I don't know. I just don't think that I don't really think that anybody has the right to judge anybody else.
Agreed.
You know, like, if you don't like, Lea, you said it, Amina, you've said it. If you don't like it, don't follow those people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's that simple.
Yeah, I completely agree. Don't get me wrong. I am guy. I think I can call myself ultra libertarian, or I am for the freedom. I basically think that your freedom should only be limited when it limits the freedom of the other person. Do what the hell you want to do. I am for the drugs, for everything. Of course, I don't do drugs, but if you want to do drugs, if you want to do, I don't know, coke or any other thing, just do what you want. Of course, our countries won't allow it, and of course there is a question for the children. So we have to protect our children. So it's not like we can allow our children to do anything what they want, because I think our countries would collapse. But yes, I completely agree. Let everyone do what they want to do, but don't. I don't agree with one point. I think people will always judge us. It's not like it's. I think it's our basic human instinct. So we will always judge what we see. We like that or we don't like that. We think this lady is or this man is beautiful and this one is not. So I think we cannot stop judging it, and we will never stop judging.
Never say never.
Right. You've got me there.
Never. But you know, we started this conversation talking about finance. So on a corporate level, on a business level, on a professional level, there is an etiquette. And I think that's important to say, right? And it's in being in Twitter, I've seen that etiquette not, being followed through professionally by some people, some CEOs actually, or just people of different titles that way, where they may, that whole exposure to women that way. I've seen that where I felt like, maybe that wasn't very professional, only because there was a business aspect behind that, a professionalism that I was expecting. But other than that, yeah.
One kind of thought I have on that, I'm curious what you guys think, is like, at least for me, when I see someone from a business standpoint that is saying things that are sexist or that are just really like not very professional or are kind of degrading of women, in my opinion, it's like you still have a right to say that if you want, but I also have a right to not do business with you if I don't agree with that. And so I think I guess when it comes down to it, like, I really am a believer in the free market, and that and if enough people are like disgusted by that and choose not to do business with them because of it, then that will impact them, and maybe that will be what changes their minds. So I don't know what you guys think about that, but
yeah, I think that's a great point, Leah. If you don't want to follow someone, you don't like their content, don't follow them. If you don't want to work with a business because you don't like how representatives of that business behave, don't work with that business. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Yeah, on the corporate level, of course, there is business etiquette. I completely agree. That's the different story. But you know what? I don't know, in Poland, when you ask the kids in the ground school, who do you want to be when you grow up? Most of them say YouTuber. Is it the same? Is it the same in the United States or Canada?
Is that what they're saying today, kids? Okay, interesting.
That's what my 8-year-old wants to be.
Well, we've made it, guys. We are the epitome of society. There was a recent study done in Europe, actually. I forget the percentage of young girls that say they want to be an Instagram star when they grow up. It was a study that came out a year or two ago, I think. It's pretty interesting.
Interesting.
To be honest, it freaks me out because they see, I don't know, 5, 10, 20 people, for example, in my country, which are very successful. They did a lot of stupid things, so we call it. Loose translation is shit work. So it comes from shit and work. So basically, the work that doesn't, it brings money, but you cannot say it's a real work, and they want to be like them. And I think parents should tell them that being a YouTuber, it's not that easy, and it doesn't mean you will be a successful YouTuber with millions of followers. Even if you try very hard, it's not that easy.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely not what I'm telling my daughter. Like, you can do anything you want to do. If that's what you want to do it, like, I'll help you. And,
Yeah.
That's nice. That's sweet. Say that no matter what she wanted to do, I would be like, okay.
That's awesome. I think that's awesome, Nicole. Like, that's showing your daughter how much support you have and how much you believe in her. Like,
it's true, right? Like, you can be whatever you want to be if you just continually believe it and, continue to picture it. And I don't want her to feel limited by, YouTube being difficult. She knows it's not easy.
Yeah, I completely agree. You have to support your children. and then another thing. How do you say it in English? You don't want to cut their wings. How do you?
Yeah.
Call it?
Yeah. That expression.
Yeah. So but some parents do it. So you won't be that. You are not smart enough. You are not that and that and that. So that's very sad.
Yeah. I mean, I was definitely raised just like constantly being told that I was like, oh, you don't really need to learn science and math and like all of that. And so, and that really did impact my interest in those subjects and tech and like all those things. And so it's funny that now I have like basically like a tech and blockchain YouTube channel, you know, so, and a tech degree and like all these things. So it's kind of come around, but yeah, it took a lot of work to kind of undo that programming of like, oh, you're just good at creative things. You're not good at, you know, difficult, hard subjects. Right. And so that's great. I love that you're supporting your daughter in that way.
She wants to do.
All right, but one more thing about this. What do you think, ladies? When you start your own, I don't know, YouTube channel, Instagram account, Facebook, Twitter account, you open it for public criticism. Do you think it should be allowed? Do you think you should get offended because people criticize you? Or maybe, I know there are trolls everywhere, and there are, I call them keyboard warriors. So, but people will judge you. But is judgment really something bad?
You use the word offended. So right there, I have to say, I don't think anyone can truly be offended. I think it is how you choose to react. You can't, like, to be offended. What does that really mean? And where did that come from? And how did this all start? There are people who will say things I don't like on Twitter, for instance, when I'm tweeting something. And if it's something really, you know, that opposing to what I believe in or what I'm trying to say or convey, if they're going to jump on my post and shit talk it, then I will put them in their place where I feel I need to put them, or, you know, or lend them that conversation of, you know, you don't need to be here. In other words, you know, like, you can get off my post. But it happens. That's life. It's human behavior. And, or you don't engage in it. You just ignore it. And that's another way I deal with it. But sometimes it bugs me. I'm human. We have reactions. Sometimes I'm trying to convey something, you know, important, and someone will turn around and just shit talk it. And I'll just be like, wow, that sucked, you know? But yeah, it's just part of accepting where we are, what we're doing, and we are talking to the general population. I mean, it can be anybody in there.
Yeah, I would be lying if I said that it didn't impact me on some level, right? Like, I think that when you first see a tweet of someone, because I think really good trolls find a little nugget of truth, or the thing that is really gonna like hit you. And so I do have like kind of an instant reaction of like, oh my gosh, what is this? And but I do think that the more you're in the public eye, the more that you kind of get used to that, you do get used to it. And like, for me, I try to, when I notice myself getting triggered, just take this mindset of, you know, if someone, like, who really takes the time to stop and tear other people down? It's probably not someone that is doing a lot of really great things in their own life. Like, I really truly think that people that are working hard towards their passions, that are building things they're excited about, that are doing really good work in the world, generally don't stop to tear other people down just for the sake of it. And so sometimes there can be some really valid points that I maybe didn't consider, and I would have said it in a more respectful way, but I still am like, okay, that's kind of a valid comment. But then there's kind of just like the full-on hate, like they're just purposely trying to agitate you. Agitate you. And so, yeah, I just try to have a little bit of empathy for, like, they must have a really shitty life if they're going to be acting that way.
100%, Lea. Yeah, for sure. I get trolly comments, or like people, you know, retweeting me with some like real you know, I don't know, some trolly comment. And I think the thing that I've started to do that is the most effective is to just like 100% kill them with kindness back. So when someone, you know, makes fun of me, I'll retweet them making fun of me and be like, hey, and by the way, thanks so much for helping to spread my tweet, because you know, that really helps with my engagement, and like, I appreciate you. And like, you would not, but like, it totally disarms people. I mean, I'd be lying if I said that there wasn't a part of me, like, you know, dying inside every time that every time that I have to do it, or like that I didn't at least have to take a couple of minutes to get over that hump. But yeah, I mean, I find that that's the most effective thing to do. Not just ignore it, not just to fight them, but to be like, you know, and I've done this before too, where, you know, someone was being really mean about me in a, you know, variety of Twitter threads that I wasn't tagged in, but I did know about. And where I just said, you know, like, no, I don't need anybody to be mean to those people. Those people are hurting enough, and they don't need extra. I got it. And that was really effective too. So yeah, I mean, I think you both made really good points about, you know, what you do, and that's what I do.
Yeah,
Cool.
I completely agree. It was, I think, for me personally, it was the hardest thing. I always try to argue. Maybe argue is not the best word, but when someone comments, at least it used to be that way, I had to reply. I had to convince them that they are wrong. Even if they said some really bad and shitty stuff about me. And someone said, all right, you are lying, blah, 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 blah. And no, I had to reply and explain to them and explain. And someone told me, don't feed the troll. They are only waiting for you to reply to them. And then in their heads, they think, all right, I have made him reply. So, yeah, kill them with kindness. So, for example, someone say, all right, Mike, you blah, 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 blah. You deleted my comment. And I say, no, I didn't. And he said, you are a liar, you did it. Yes, of course, you are right. Have a nice day.
Exactly. That's good.
Yes, but you know what? For me personally, I have never met any troll in person. I think they are sitting behind their computer screens. When I go to a meeting or meetup or conference, there are great people there. Really great people.
Yeah. Absolutely. I would agree with that. Yeah, those trolls just sit in their little spaces and never come out, I think.
Well, and they mostly have anonymous accounts too. So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
who cares what they say?
Yeah.
But what do you think about one more thing? Because, for example, some projects, I think for some people, crypto becomes like a religion. For example, I tell to people, if you are offended that I criticize your project because that and you get I don't know, you get really offended, it fuels your fire and you want to kill me, then you have a problem. I think you should at least drink a beer, or maybe visit some psychologist, or maybe look for some help, because when someone criticizes your project, not yourself but your project, you have a really big problem. There are communities like Bitcoin SV, or Bitcoin at least, Bitcoin Cash in Poland, it's Lisk, and other communities that it looks like a religion. What do you think?
Okay, I'll answer. Sorry. So I have almost a PhD in religious studies. Tribalism in crypto is one of the topics that I've, identified with most strongly, that I've studied kind of from the beginning. Absolutely, from the outside, cryptocurrencies look like a religion, and even worse than religion in some cases, because, there are people from different religious groups who are still able to be friends with each other, even though they disagree about what's going to happen in the afterlife, or how the world was, how the universe, multiverse, whatever was created, and how people are supposed to live, but they're still able to be nice to each other. Where with cryptocurrency, we see a lot of people who are not able to be nice to other people just because of what coin they back. And to me, that is like just beyond the point of lunacy.
I would agree. there's I've heard the word cultish and cults being formed, and I almost see some of that sometimes. It's interesting what it does. I don't know if it's the idea of the evolution of what these currencies can do for us that makes us feel that way and attached to it with such passion, and form groups or like little families and things like that. I really tend to say a lot of the time that, because one thing I did notice is when I went to conferences and meeting anyone in the space, we felt connected and we felt close only because we were in a small conversation that other people are not. So when you meet that person of like-mindedness, when we know we're a minority, we feel close right away because it's human nature to feel connected. So it's a really interesting process, you know. It's but I think, you know, for me, I really remind myself that we are a family. Yes, we are a crypto family, not just one coin family. You know, we're a whole crypto family, but we're also a whole world family. And it's not about just being a crypto family. You know, we want the whole world to evolve and see things and grow and and that's what we're trying to do, is create adoption, right? And of course, it's going to take something of a larger scale to create this adoption. It's not going to be you and me saying, "Hey, look over here." It's not going to happen. You know, a world crisis would do it for sure. And
I wonder if we may be looking at that right now.
I know, exactly. What a serious topic too. You know, coronavirus is doing many things and could have a whole agenda around it. And this is not conspiracy, people. I think this is just thinking really intelligently and looking at things. So, and thinking for yourself, which was really important. But yeah, it's really about all of us being together and uniting, and as human beings. So that's how I really look at it at the end of the day. And crypto, I do see this is a tool and something to help us get there. And in all of us in that, I do see us uniting and sticking together, but also, you know, keeping that door open to other people and educating. I mean, this is why I do meetups. I educate. And educate wherever I can. I was at the ear doctor yesterday and he's telling me he's retiring. And I said, wow. And he goes, you know, I really have to watch my money because it's, you know, I won't be having any income coming in. Well, as soon as he said that, I was like, boing, okay, I got to talk to him. And I did. And he listened. And, you know, and I directed him to Andreas Antonopoulos. And I said, you know, try checking him out and listening from there. Great reference, right? I mean, you can't go wrong when you reference someone like Antop. And he listened, and he was like writing his name down and said, thank you. And, you know, where can I go buy silver? And I said, this is where you go in Ottawa. And that's it. You know, we're all here. So to help, it's just helping. And anyway, I've said a lot. So.
Well, one thing that I kind of want to touch on that you said, Nicole, that I wonder if part of the dynamic of, like, you know, you mentioned, hey, there's various religions that they can still kind of be friends and be respectful of each other. Why does it feel like maybe that's not as much the case in the crypto world? And I honestly think that it's because there's money involved. It's not just, you know, your philosophical viewpoint, but when you have actual money at stake and, you know, in these conversations, that changes everything. And especially if it's, let's say, a huge part of someone's holdings and their, you know, future plans for wealth and livelihood, like that's hits on a deeper level than just the philosophical side. So when you pair philosophical with the money, which ultimately money issues or money concerns are a root, you know, security concern, I think that you're just kind of creating this perfect storm for people to get very opinionated and very kind of you know, I don't know, up in arms about some of these things sometimes.
Well,
yeah, I think you're right. Absolutely, Leah.
My point of view is pretty simple. People always try to find someone to blame, because one of the hardest things in life is to accept your failures. You have failed, you have to live with the consequences. People can't get on with it. And for crypto, if you invest in some crypto project and then you have lost some money, some people try to find someone to blame. and then they form the religion. When someone criticizes their project, they go with rage or things like that. You know nothing. You are an... I once said that I don't want to get another algorithm.
YouTube strike.
yeah. Of course, it has nothing to do with my content, but who knows? And yeah, there are like many different religions. Bitcoin religion, Ethereum religion, Bitcoin SV religion, I don't know, many different religions. Then they don't want to hear the facts, because I've been having a very hot discussion with Bitcoin SV fans, and I tried to argue with them, because I told them it won't work, because I used to work in the connections in the I've been in ISP, so I've been working with internet a lot, and for example, for me 2 terabyte blocks will not happen. It's not like we can scale the internet up endlessly, because we are approaching the physical limit of the fiber optic cables, and we won't scale a bit more, because I have, like, I don't know, 1 gig connection in my home. I could do 10 gigs, but it's not like I can have 100 gigabits of bandwidth in my home. It's not, it doesn't work like that. But, and of course, they didn't want to listen, they didn't want to hear anything. Some guy followed me on Twitter, on Facebook, and marked my post. He brought his army with him. And it was really pitiful, because crypto should not be the religion. You cannot hide from the truth. You cannot hide. If your project is dying, you have to accept it, you have to face the consequences, and you have to live on.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Yep. Cheers.
All right. I have another topic, because as we have mentioned before, we are all artists. Like, so Nicole is a writer, right? You write a lot of stuff. Amina paints. Loriana is not with us. She will join me later. Lea is a Super Bowl superstar, so
It's my talent.
Your videos are so creative. They're awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously Lea is an artist with her videos, you know? I mean, like that shirt change, that one where you're like changing the shirts and doing the Macarena is like, there had to be so much effort that went into that.
I'm just a nerd, honestly, and I get these like weird ideas in my head, and I'm like, either people will think this is hilarious because I think it's fun, like in my own head I think it's funny, I'm like, or they'll think I'm really weird. But either way, if they think I'm weird, they are welcome to unfollow me. Like, I'm like, you just get it all.
Yeah, it's the only way to be, right?
I love it.
I mean, yeah, have you read my tweets?
I think I have seen your TikTok videos. I don't use TikToks, but you upload them onto Instagram or maybe to Twitter. One of with these taxes. So when you try,
yeah. So here's what I kind of think about some of that fun, silly content is that on the surface, it might look like it's not really accomplishing much of a goal or mission, but I actually think that not everyone's going to sit down and watch a 30-minute interview I do with the CEO of Edge Wallet, right? But dropping those little thought nuggets for people, I think is really actually important to kind of starting that mental shift of maybe being interested in learning more about the monetary system or the government or, Bitcoin and crypto. And so I actually think there's a lot of strategy there in terms of making consumable, fun, seemingly semi-lighthearted, but has a thought process behind it kind of content as well.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Me too. Good job.
Me and my weird ass self will just be continuing to make funny videos.
I don't think by any means that you're the only person within this space that's weird. I mean, like, I've made plenty of videos, and you know, you definitely are still the queen. But I think we've all made a video that, or, you know, or done something where when you look back at it, you're like, yeah, I get the cringe.
Right.
Fun. It's fun. But a good point, like Facebook, for instance. I started my Facebook account years ago. So I have a lot of my old high school friends there and people in my community. So when I started crypto, I just thought, I'm just going to keep it going. I'm not going to start a new account. And so my account started changing in their eyes, right? They're like, what's Amina doing? What's she talking about? What's going on, right? And so I slowly did that, like what you were saying, Lea, right? I throw a little nugget here and there and there. So now I'll put something else, like either an article or in something to do with the monetary, you know, system or something that's going to just pique a little interest. I'll do that, or something with crypto, but maybe even indirectly. And I've noticed some of them probably have turned away from me, maybe even unfollowed me. It doesn't matter. I don't care, because I'm doing what I authentically want to do. So, but that's what I've been doing too, or in my LinkedIn account, the same, right? It's so professional there. It's like, and I love seeing your videos in there. It's like, oh, right on. There's Lea, you know, here we are in LinkedIn.
I love LinkedIn, actually.
Yeah.
It's a very cool platform right now. There's a lot of changes happening on there.
Yeah, I like it too, for sure. So yeah, it's good. Everyone drop those little hints. It's a great thing to do. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I can't even tell you. I probably get at least one DM a day from someone asking me how they should buy their first crypto.
Yes.
And it's because, you know, not every single thing that I tweet has crypto or Bitcoin in it. And then also same thing, you know, with Lea, like, it's relatable content. You're seeing somebody who you could actually imagine living next door to you, right? Like, doesn't seem like, oh, this is like a, you know, person who's been working in this field for 20 years and has this higher level of expertise. And, you know, yeah, I think that everybody has a role to play, and everybody should just play their own role and leave everybody else alone.
Well, for me, it's completely opposite, because I always get the messages, do you want to find out what Bitcoin is? Do you want to find out how to invest in Bitcoin? Do you want to tell me, do you want me to tell you what Bitcoin is? And things like that, especially on Twitter. But I have chosen the other direction, because I have my personal Facebook and I have my like Mike Satoshi Facebook, and basically I now use only Mike Satoshi one. Of course, Facebook asked me a lot about my phone number and things like that. And now I won't tell you. Now they gave up. But I didn't want to mix my personal life with my crypto life. So some people still don't know what my real name is. So.
What? It's not Mike Satoshi?
Well,
what?
Damn, I thought he was Satoshi.
Let me tell you one funny story. I've been on some local crypto meetup in, I think it was the city, I think it was in the northern Poland, and I've been invited to some really small local meeting. I joined them, and then there was one guy. He looks at me and he tells me, Mike, why now? I'm looking at him. What? Why now? Why did you hide all those years? I'm looking at him and I'm trying to find out what does he mean. You know, you have created Bitcoin. Why did you hide all those years? And I'm looking at him and he really means it. So... listen, I am not Satoshi Nakamoto, and then because they booked a hotel for me, and then I entered the hotel. I have arrived and I entered the hotel, and then I tell to this, how do you call this person on
Concierge, maybe?
concierge? Maybe.
Maybe.
Doesn't matter. I enter the hotel. Okay, I have a room booked in here. What is your name? And I tell them my real name. No, there's no such person. All right. He's checking. Mr. Satoshi, is this you? Yes. And then this guy is. I hear from him speaking Polish. He's from Russia. And then I wonder, will I have any visit from our friends from our eastern border? Because
Oh no!
so
Whoops. Well, you made it out alive. Seems like
Yeah.
you got back home okay.
yeah. No one visited me. So yeah. But it was the first time I had to that someone believed I am the creator of Bitcoin, and for me it was obvious. No one will even believe it, and there was one guy who really believed that I have created Bitcoin, and it was really funny.
I have a funny story, like similar. When I started my meetup, before I started my meetup, I was going to a meetup at it's a high-tech center, innovation center. And one of the guys there, Jordan St. Jacques, he did a meetup and a Bitcoin or a blockchain ICO meetup, I think it was. Anyway, so there was quite a group of people in there, and I'm sitting in there, and there's a gentleman sitting at a desk. There were desks, it was this teaching room sort of beside me. And at the end of it, now Jordan had already introduced me and said that Amina's doing a meetup here in Ottawa, blah, 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 blah. And then at the end of it, this gentleman that was over to my right came up to me and shook his hand and introduced himself and said, I'm Emil, I own Collab Space. It's a co-working space. And we have all these rooms there. If you want the teaching room, you can use it for your meetups. We'd love to have you. And I said, wow, that's fantastic. So I did, and I took him up on it, and I've been still there. And a year later, he tells me the reason why he came up to me when Jordan had introduced me, what he heard was that I was the woman who created blockchain. That's why he came up to me and offered me the room.
Oh my gosh.
And I didn't even know that, like the whole year. He tells me a year later. Anyway, funny story.
Well, I think that's a testament to both of you that if someone thought that you could create Bitcoin or blockchain technology, they obviously had a very good impression of your intelligence. So
Oh, that's funny. It's a funny story.
I think both of your stories also kind of points to an interesting, kind of fact that as more and more people start coming into the space, stuff that feels like so obvious to us there are going to be a lot of misconceptions and things that people are learning. So I think that especially moving into the halving and hopefully the next big bull run, I think we can probably expect to see more moments like that pop up.
I think so. I would agree.
Do you have to explain how blockchain works to a normal people? Because I get a lot of questions like, I have my son sent some money to some blockchain address. Can you tell me who is this? Who is this guy? Where did I send my money? Or things like that. He has his ledger on Ledger Nano S or Ledger Nano X, and then my money are safe. One situation, because I have to do a little introduction. There was this guy who came to me, and he really needed his money, and he had those 24 words mnemonic seed with him. And I tell him, he told me, I don't have my ledger with me. What can I do? And I told him, give me those 24 words, and we will get your money. And he looks at me like that. No, you cannot. They are on my ledger at home. And I had to explain to him how the blockchain works and what is blockchain and what is this ledger device. And there are a lot of people who, for example, hardware wallets are good because they force you to do a backup. And for example, the cell phone or mobile phone wallets, they don't do that, and people don't do backups, so they lose their money.
Yeah, making backups of your private keys is honestly one of the biggest things I try to hone in with people when they're new. Don't leave your money on an exchange for one. Back up your private keys. Those are kind of the two big things I always try to communicate to people.
100%. I did the same on my meetups. I did a lot of safety, talked a lot about that, hardware wallets, about how to back it up, how to vet a site, you know, properly when you're online. Just whatever to keep them safe, because I mean, those are things I think we could all agree when we first learned about all of this, you know, the things that we went through and discovered. And I mean, I've used, you know, even sending money out, I've lost a little bit, but thank goodness I used to do little tests, you know, like send $10 before I send, you know, 200 or something. And I remember I've lost a couple times, and so it happens, you know. And I had meetup members that would show up and tell me how, like, tell the whole group where, you know, they had been hacked and lost 20 grand or something. And I'd be, oh, it happened. I've heard quite a few who've had either hacked or something's happened. Just a couple of them. There was a couple that had been hacked and lost quite a bit of money. And so, yeah, those are big ones. Keeping things safe and, you know, being careful. For sure.
I encourage people not to trade. I mean, not like professional traders, but it feels like a lot of the time people will get in touch with me and then tell me, yeah, I bought some Bitcoin, you know, last month, and now I'm trading it. And I'm like, okay, well, how much of it are you trading with? You know, and when they tell me anything over like 10%, I'm like, look, you know, there's a lot of stuff that factors into this market, stuff that there's no way that you could control, like, and there's no way that you could know about in advance. There's people with large sums. There's over-the-counter trading. So unless you're really confident that you're not going to lose your money, you know, I would only trade with what I'm willing to lose. And it feels like people most often don't want to hear that, but this little season that's been the last 2 months, I've had 4 people tell me they've been liquidated.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. You are a newbie and you use leverage training, right? So
yeah.
So
yeah.
There
50x leverage trading, crypto,
or 125.
Yeah.
Crazy.
There was
learned, but that's a good point, Nicole. Good for you for trying to help. Trading's good. I mean, there's a lot of good things in trading if you know what you're doing and you have some expertise or some knowledge. And again, like you said, you're not trading. You're trading what you can afford to lose. You know, and when you hear people trading, you know, either 5,000, 10,000, 50,000 on a trade, these are people who have a lot of money. It's all relative to what they own. So there's a lot to learn. I learned a little bit too. I wanted to learn trading so I understood some of my members and meetup members and the language and, you know, what to say. And I actually did really well. I mean, I had a natural ability to learn it, but I mean, I would trade with $100 and I would trade with very little just to learn. And I think the most I traded with was $1,000. And, but again, very low, you know, just by that point, I've learned a lot of information. And anyway, we're going to be trading on our world tour. That's the world tour that we're going on. The gentleman that I'm with, he's my business partner. He's a trader and he's going to trade, and I'm going to too. And we're going to earn our Bitcoin. And that's how we'll earn some of it, because we're going to cycle it, earn it, spend it, pay everything with it. So, yeah.
But you know, the not funny, the weird thing is when I've been doing my first steps with cryptocurrency, I've been extra careful. I've been reading everything before I clicked. I had to read the explanation, and now people are like, all right, shut up and take my money. All right, it's okay. Install the wallet. Okay. No, I don't need backup. Okay. And then they start trading. The next day they are doing futures trading, leverage trading. Yes, I don't have to learn anything because Bitcoin is going to the moon. And how can I lose on this market? Everyone earns on this market. And then there was one guy who approached me. He had like 250 bucks, and he started trading. But he didn't do some like you post an offer on the crypto exchange. I think he has been using market trading. So in Poland we call it quick buy and quick sell. For example, you choose the amount of money you want to buy, and then the transactions happens. And he told me, "Look, Mike, I'm trying to trade and I'm losing money. How come Bitcoin is rising and you're losing money? How does it happen?" Well, I buy and I sell and I lose. And I ask him, we talk, and then, yeah, I use quick buy and quick sell. So you don't post an offer on the exchange? You can do that? So I've told him, learn first, then trade. He approached me, I think in two days or 3 days later, and he told me, "What is this leverage? Someone told me that you can earn a lot of money with this leverage." So
Sorry, who's supposed to be talking?
yeah.
I'm like, is that a wrap? Is that?
Oh yeah, I'm like, good.
We've been going for a while. Maybe people are sick of listening to us by now.
I think we've been an hour at least, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have just passed 1 hour, but we are not doing it live stream, so it's just in recording. So
True.
So yeah, with a live stream, I've had one question in my head, but I have lost it. Just give me a couple seconds. I will cut it later.
Sure. Lea, are we going to mention anything here?
Oh, should we?
Yeah.
We haven't like said anything yet, so.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, what is it?
That was funny.
Suspense is killing me.
Okay, so I'm going on a world tour, as all of you know, and I'm going to be going on a crypto digital nomad adventure and around the world, and with my business partner. And I leave next week, and my first destination is Paris. So we will be blogging it, and we will be posting it, and I'll be doing videos on YouTube. But Lea and I are also going to be doing you say it.
We're going to be doing a show together. And so it is the Bitcoin travel show. Yeah. And it's going to be really fun. We're actually, in a few days, we're filming a video. So we'll make the big announcement later this week. So watch for all those details. But basically, we're just going to be having chats about travel and all of your adventures and really how you've been earning Bitcoin, how you've been spending Bitcoin, what you've been experiencing. And so I'm really excited just to kind of help you document some of this and to have this kind of collaboration and get to hang out with you and catch up on a regular basis and see how things are going. But yeah, that's what's going on.
Yeah, and I'm so excited to do that and share with you and all the fun stuff and travel hacks and all that. Oh my gosh, it's going to be exciting.
And make sure to move east. Always east.
East?
East. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mean Poland? Is that,
Yeah, because you have France, and then you have Germany, and then there is Poland.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we want to go as much as we can, of course, with this whole coronavirus scare and whatever is going to be going on. We're going to do our best to get around all those. I mean, the Czech countries we'd love to do. I'm hearing a lot of stuff about corona there right now, but
no corona in Poland. No, nothing in Poland. No.
Okay. All right. That's good to know. And even if there is, I'll still come. The flu gets everywhere. That's how I look at it. So, and I'll take if I have to wear a mask where needed, or even if it helps me to get through the airports, I'll do it, and wash my hands more frequently, that sort of thing. Take my vitamin C's, vitamin D3s, and just stay healthy, eat well. that's what I'm going to do, and
But you know, the
avoid the areas.
the funny
Are you
thing
thinking that
is,
you're going to be in Turkey in April?
Sorry, say that again.
Are you thinking that you'll be in Turkey in April?
I don't think we're going to Turkey. We're going to
Okay.
avoid it. Yeah. Turkey will avoid the Asian countries right now. We won't go to Italy at the moment. And yeah, it'll pass. I think this will pass. Like we're ongoing with our travel, so we'll catch up at some point to some of those places.
yeah, you have mentioned Corona. The world is going crazy right now. To be honest, this mask doesn't help you.
Yeah.
I think some doctor told me that it even increases the chances of an infection. Only the infected people should wear it. If you are healthy, it won't help you. It can even make it worse. But the funny thing is, Japanese and Korean people are buying Polish vodka because someone told them that Polish vodka protects from the virus, and even they even wash their hands with Polish vodka because I think the spirit kills the viruses and bacteria. So it's
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, vodka. All right. Mental note.
All of Japan is just drunk on Polish vodka. They're just trying to not get sick.
yeah, and then I think it was on the radio today. I've been driving my car and heard it, and then the speaker on the radio told me, "Now you know why there is no coronavirus in Poland, because we do." Yeah, I think there was around 500 cases of. They were suspecting 500 or maybe even 600 people, but they were all the tests were negative. So far, no sick persons in Poland.
Interesting. Okay. Cool.
I love Poland. Oh my gosh, you guys should totally go if you've never been. It's such a beautiful country.
I've heard. I really want to. I really would love to. I want to go to Prague. I want to. Oh, there's so many places. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, Europe itself is very, very beautiful.
Yeah.
I plan to visit London.
Well, I'm curious to see the crypto communities and hear about all the blockchain talk and what's going on, because it sounds like there's so much more going on in Europe, and I'm just curious and that's what I can report to the show, and that'll be really cool to convey back to America, hey, this is what's going on, and being on the ground, like being able to talk to people directly and not having to hear it through whatever media is, or so that'll be fun. Yeah,
I think the biggest crypto conference in Europe is Malta Blockchain Summit. I think it's around November this year.
Okay.
Yeah, so I will try to be there.
I could do Malta in November.
Yeah,
Right.
that
sounds nice.
Yeah, I think Malta block.
Convinced.
I would love to get to Malta someday. It's so cool. Just everything that they're doing over there is very, very cool.
Yeah, you agreed. The community's big there.
And to brag a little, Jessica Walker from Malta Blockchain Summit will be on InvestCaps in Poland this March. So it's like 3 weeks from now, and then we will also have Crypto Sarah. I think.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, she's Polish, but she lives in England, and we will of course have High Heels of Bitcoin discussion panel, a huge room, I think with 2,000 seats. So I am pretty scared because it will be my first High Heels of Bitcoin panel in English, of course, because Jessica doesn't speak Polish. So I'm a bit nervous.
You'll do great. What a great opportunity.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it's a really great party because I go there on Thursday, and then I stay until Sunday. So there will be a party on the Thursday night, and then there will be a party on Friday night, and then there will be a party on official party on Saturday night. So.
Wow. Well, have fun. Sounds great.
Yeah, have a blast. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know there's a blockchain event in Paris they've canceled, and a Tezos event they've canceled because of the Corona thing. So I suspect there'll be some of the events that we were planning on going to that'll be postponed. So
yeah, I'm supposed to speak at Malaysia Blockchain Week this year, which is in July, and I'm questioning if I want to travel to Asia at this point in time. But I'm also wondering how that's impacting their planning, because I'm sure a lot of attendees, you know, obviously would be local, so they're already there, but tons of people would fly in for it too. So yeah, I think that's a good point. I think a lot of conferences this year might be really impacted because of it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would imagine so. It's already started, so yeah.
To be honest, I think by July, no one will remember what coronavirus was.
Hopefully.
It's possible. Yeah. I'm hoping. I'm not going to buy my plane ticket just yet. So
I haven't booked that ticket to Turkey for April, and I'm like, it's 1 month away, but I don't know.
My friend got back from Turkey, I think 2 weeks ago. And he got back and he got immediately sick, and we've been suspecting this virus, but no, he's okay. It was just I think a cold, but you know what, I think it's, for me it's widespread panic, because people are irrational, because for example I think it is in Poland, tens, maybe thousands of people die on it's not cold, it's flu. I think it's flu every year, and this coronavirus is not as, this is the bad word.
Not as many deaths, right?
Yeah, not as effective. Or maybe it's not the effective. Maybe
rapidly growing, but I think with like the flu or influenza, there's thousands of deaths in comparison. The numbers are higher. That's what I've heard.
I just want to throw out there that I think that they're rapidly, like vastly underreporting the number of deaths that have occurred.
Okay.
I don't know that that's true. I don't want anybody to panic, but honestly, I think that media hype in this case is actual suppression of the information.
I've heard that too. There's a lot of fear, though, and that's the part I'm cautious about, because I know the programming is all about fear, and it's usually the agenda is a distraction.
Oh yeah,
so
for sure.
What's the distraction,
like,
right?
If everybody in the country, you know, in the U.S. or in some part of the world has to go on lockdown inside of their homes, what in the world is going to be going out there? Yeah.
Exactly, and the economy is not looking good, so.
Yeah.
There was some poll today, I think, that 28% of Americans don't want to buy Corona beer because
I saw that. Wow. Are we done? Okay.
So there was a study done, actually I tweeted about this yesterday, that said 38% of beer drinking Americans, so not all Americans, but 38% of beer drinking Americans are currently not drinking Corona, but 16% are due to their confusion about whether it's connected to the virus and if they could literally get the virus from drinking Corona beer. And so my tweet that I sent out about it was like, yeah, these are the same people that get to vote in the elections you do. Just remember that.
I think I saw that tweet. That's good point.
But you know what? I found over the internet something like that. Every time there's a presidential election in the US, there is some kind of disease.
There's a virus.
Yeah. So it was like mad cow disease, and then there was pig disease or something like that. Every every 4 or 5 years. And by the way, I think it is SARS. It was years ago. Around 1 million of people died around the world for this, and no one was doing this panic thing. So
yeah, I know. Well, I'm still traveling around the world. It's not stopping me. So
good job.
But you know what? I'm trying to find the information. What is the real reason behind this? Who won? Because China is not producing, it affects the global financial system. And you know what, I found that they try to get rid of the cash because cash is bad, and this may be the real reason behind it. They want to get rid of the cash around the world.
It's certainly interesting. It's if you look, China is shutting down basically, right? Their ports are shutting down. There's so many products that come from there. Whether it be the packaging or the product itself, or some part along the lines of the, assembly line of that product is going through China. So it's a massive impact on the world, I would imagine, and so economically, that affects. And you wonder, because if they wanted to crash the system, the economic system, who would want to take the blame for that? I would imagine nobody. So, using a disease is an interesting perspective, and whether or not that's what's happening, but it's all correlating, and you can see it. The timing is interesting, right, with everything. There's a lot of things being said around that. Yeah.
I think we will find out someday, when we will all get old, that this virus was that and that. It's like those CIA archives are opened after 50 years or maybe something like that. So so you have to live a really long life to find out what was the reason of this and that 50 years ago.
True. Very true. So is this a wrap? We're now at least, an hour and...
I know. I'm losing some steam. I'm ready to wrap.
Yeah. So I have to get going, actually. So
yeah.
All right. I think it was pretty cool. I think our audience will love it, because it was really loose discussion, many different topics. So it's perfect. I will do some later video of Loriana, because she couldn't make it. So thanks so much, ladies, for your time. I hope we will do something like that in the future.
Yeah, thank you so much for organizing this conversation. It's been really just fun to hang out with all of you guys and get to talk about so many really important topics. So thank you, Mike, for putting this together.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. It's really fun. It's nice to have this. It's just a nice way to have a conversation with all of us. And sorry we missed you, Loriana. I would have loved to have gotten to know you better in this way. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, guys. And I wish that we got to see each other in person more, really.
Yeah.
I know.
Bitcoin will cost 1 million, so we can all travel. It's not
exactly.
Well, I'll find out where you are. I'll find out where you all are on my nomadic tour, and make sure I stop and see everybody out on my way.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
All right. Thanks so much, ladies.